Good day, ladies and gentlemen, my name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new Supertest preview video. And today we have two unique vehicles. We have the Jagdpanzer E and the Projet Louis, a tier 9 German tank destroyer, heavy tank destroyer mind you, and a tier 9 French Daka light tank. Because yes, the Projet Louis is basically an AMX 1357 on tier 9. However, we start with the Jagdpanzer E. Fairly enough, because it is a tank which technically floated around the internet to be implemented into World of Tanks for ages. That is why I have these two papers over there with the E90 Crocodile and the Jagdtiger 2, or rather Panzerjägerwagen E90. The thing is, as far as I know, the Krokodil, or the Kampfwagenvernichter E90, as far as I'm aware, is a completely fake design. It might also be the real Crocodile, which is based on the E100, which has it basically looks like this, but with a fat gun, because it would make sense with the gun being so long, so heavy, the tank would make right. So, on the other hand, in World of Tanks, we don't really care for realism, let's be honest. Except if you want to know something about the UTAS 1516, then you might want to check out another video of mine. Anyway, the Jagdtiger. The Jagdtiger 2, it looks cool. Like, on this thing, it looks... I really like it. It looks sleek, you know. It has this Jagdpanther feeling, you know. It has this up-angled front blade. It is angled a little bit up here, and it looks sleek. What is this? Why does he look so chubby? Like, that is not sleek. It looks like more like an angled box on tracks, I guess. I don't know what happened here, but that one here is not this one. In the end, this is a Jagdpanzer E90 and not a Panzerjägerwagen E90, so maybe that's the reason. Let's start with comparing the gun. The gun is a 15cm as far as I'm aware, with 650 alpha and 290mm of base pen on AP, which is great, and 334mm heat pen, which is the same as the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger or the E100's 15cm guns, which is also fairly cool. The good thing is, maybe that's a problem, maybe that's wrong, but it has the same shell velocity, because the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger's shell velocity is 500 meters per second, and that's slow. Trust me, I'm playing this tank right now with the Bonka gun. You know, I want to be some Tun Sahur things. DPM wise, because of its 16.2 second reload time, we get a DPM of 2407, which is better than the T30 and the Hori, which also has the same alpha, by the way, but it doesn't even come close to the Jagdtiger. To be fair though, the Jagdtiger is weird regardless. You know, the Jagdtiger is... It kind of doesn't really make sense in the progression, in my opinion. But on the other hand, you know, actually, let's take this topic a little bit forward. I was thinking, why does Wargaming now introduce the Jagdpanzer E90? Like, the thing is, Wargaming could theoretically remove or exchange this tank with the E100. It kind of, with the Jagdtiger. It kind of would make sense more in the progression, because you have the Ferdinand, which still doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then you have a Jagdpanzer E90, and then you have the Jagdpanzer E100, you know? So kind of the progression would be more similar. However, it would be weird for Wargaming to remove one of the most iconic tanks which genuinely existed from their tech trees, with something which did not exist at all and is a blueprint adaptation. So I'm now thinking, so what's the point of this vehicle? Like, is it going to be a reward vehicle? Is it going to be a premium for Christmas loot boxes? Probably loot boxes, let's be honest. So, but then again, it's like, it should be more enjoyable to play, because you want that people pay you money to play this tank, right? Because the main problem this tank has, and this is why I took this whole detour, it has 5 degrees of gun traverse limits. Do you, my dear viewer, dislike the Polish tank destroyers because of their narrow gun traverse limits? Guess what? The E90 is exactly that as well. And the problem is, the accuracy is not that overwhelming. The aim time is very long. So this thing needs to have amazing gun handling stats, like on the move and during gun traverse. We don't know them yet, obviously, but this fact alone will most likely break this tank, in the sense that it will be super unfun to play. So, yeah, what's the point of this vehicle at this point? Mobility-wise, it has nothing to shine. 28 kph top speed, yeah, fine, I guess. 12 in reverse, fine, I guess. 9.1 HP per ton ratio. Oh my god, did they put a faulty Maybach engine into this thing? And that is so slow. Like, bleh. There's no, like, that thing basically... You see, this thing will absolutely, most likely need the experimental turbo. You know, where it gives you turbo and the IRAM thingy. Because it also turns insanely slow. So, yeah. It's kind of sad because it kind of showcases that this thing needs 4 module slots, you know. You will most likely with such a thing which is so junky, you want to have HP as well, because you will play aggressive with it. You want to have a rammer, and then you want to have a turbo, and you want to have IRM to move around, so you have to use the experimental turbo. A little bit, I really am not a big fan if wargaming kind of forces you to use equipment. It's the same with the Rambo tank. They kind of force you to use a stabilizer because the gun handling was nerfed this heavily. So yeah, HP wise 1800 is pretty alright. Obviously it doesn't get close to the Jagdtiger, but then again the Jagdtiger has a very odd gimmick, and the gimmick is it doesn't have armor. So that is why that wargaming back in the days decided to give the Jagdtiger an insane amount of hit points so it can trade with their hit points against other people. And combined with the insane DPM, you can basically out-trade everything, which can't just immediately hide when you play it as a heavy tank. The whole Re is the same HP, and the T30 is a little bit lower on or lower end, but then again T30 is more unique because it has the rotating turret with the 750 alpha gun. About the armor, the paper says 200 millimeters. Wargaming's text says 160. I will make a comment and pin it and tell you guys that which one is going to be correct. I have to be honest, I'm sorry, I'm too lazy to wait for Wargaming's response to tell me, oh, it's one or the other, when the green light is already over, because I prepare these videos in advance. So this is how we do it. It could be 200, it could be 160, I do believe it will be 200. And if it is 200, that's pretty darn good, and if it has 120 millimeters of side armor, that is pretty darn good as well. You can side script with this thing. Problem will be you do have a cupola up here, as you might be able to see. Camo, we don't talk about that because there is no point in it. It is super bad, like seriously. All the other TDs have like twice the amount of camo bare minimum, and it has 370 meters of fuel range, which is also fairly bad. The last problem this tank has is its lack of crew members. You know, the Jagdtiger has 2 loaders. The Jagdpanzer E has 2 loaders. The Grille 15 has 2 loaders. The Waffenträger auf Panzer 4 I don't think has 2 loaders, so there is that. But it's not going to be a good crew trainer either. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit annoyed with the E90. I kind of, when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, amazing. And then I saw the stats and I was like, wait, no, that's bad. And then I looked at the tank closer and was like, wait, no, it looks weird. It doesn't look like the E90 I was thinking would come. Maybe it's the wrong angle, but then again, I believe if we want to have this sharper hole, it would need to go from here like here. So there is that. So let's move over to the Projet Louis, because that thing sparks joy, as you might say. It most likely has the charm rat hole, but swept around, because you can see this thing has 2 sets of wheels, or 2 sets of tracks, not wheels. I was thinking of the road wheels over here, so yeah. The main gimmick of the Projet Louis is it has a 135 alpha gun with a 10 round autoloader, which needs 9 seconds to in total burst out, and then you do 1350 burst damage. which is, on paper, kinda slow. Because look at that. The Char MLE, 1200 burst or clip damage in 5.5 seconds. VCS 6x6, 500 burst damage in 1.5 damage. Shelma, best case scenario, 900 damage in 4 seconds. Let's put it a little bit up, because usually it's more close to 5 seconds, because you have to wait for the gun to boom up. I also put the VCS 6x6 here because you might have seen in the Armor Patrol or Infocord that this thing is ready to be released, so chances are it comes very soon. And it has a similar playstyle, most likely, to the Projet Louis. Although I think the Projet Louis is going to be very close to the Shelma without an autocannon, but with a Daka gun, like the AMX 1357, which is really cool. It has pretty decent pen, it's like one of the best ones here, 194. It has also a PCR with 236 pen, which is fairly nice. It does not have hash, so there is that. A little bit rough, but it is what it is. It has 15 seconds reload for the whole clip. It has 9 seconds to burst, giving it, if I calculated it correctly, 3000 DPM. Yes, 3300 DPM. Maybe I was wrong, maybe I calculated it wrong, could be, but that is insane. Like, that is a lot. But then again, like, if you start to think about it, if you want to clip somebody, you have to expose yourself for 9 whole seconds. Minimum. Minimum. The Char melee basically only needs 1 second for 600 damage. Or 6 seconds for 1200 damage. So, like, you are a quarter of the speed, a third of the speed quicker for clipping for almost similar damage. We don't need to talk about the VCS or the Shelma, you know. Maybe you remember me playing the Czech light tanks and me molding about how annoying they are to play, because, you know, every other tank you're facing can basically do their damage in instant, you know, while you have to wait and and stand around for more than 4 seconds, basically. The Projet Louis might have the same issue. The other thing is, though, you can do a shot, go into the cover, shoot, go into cover, shoot, go into the cover. You know, you can bait shots, which you with the Shelma can't really do. So that will be interesting. It has 1.4 second aim time, which makes sense with a 1 second interclip, and it has 0.36 accuracy, which is the best of the bunch, and 9 degrees of gun oppression. There's also one more point, which is a little bit weird, but it makes no sense mathematically. But you will be the judge. Let me know in the comment section below if you find the weirdness about the firepower stats in this vehicle. I did ask Wargaming, and they say, no, it is exactly that. So, yeah. Mobility-wise, here, very quickly. I took the Char MLE in its gun handling form, because that way it has also a little bit better view range. So that is why it's slower. Other than that, the Projet Louis is going 65 kph top speed and 20 in reverse, which sounds like a great for a medium tank, but for a light tank, especially the reverse speed, 20 kph is super slow, because I struggle with the Shelma with its mobility. 62 is very slow, and 23 in reverse was a little bit the saving grace, but the Projet Louis only has 20. Yeah, you will not play this as an active scout, like something like the VCS, which goes 80 and 40 respectively. And 30 kph HP per ton ratio is okay. It's probably going to be very big. Not only does it has bad camouflage value, 16%. You can see the Char MLE has 16.24, and the VCS is worse, but it is a lot faster, and it has also pretty decent view range. And the Shelma actually also has problems with view range. It's not as bad as the Tessak. The Shelma is better than the Tessak, mind you, but it's still, I consider it to be bad, with 17.62%. Yeah, it's worse than the Projet Louis. The good thing about the Projet Louis is that its camouflage after shooting is better. Also, another thing why it is big, it has 1400 hit points. That is more than all of these. That tells me that this thing is going to be chunky, because Wargaming anticipated it taking a lot of damage. At least it has a little bit of armor, meaning that a Shelma will have issues penetrating it frontally with HE, as it has 50mm of armor, but it's probably going to be displayed here. I hope this one will be 40. Who knows? If it does, that would be great, because that way the tank can bounce some stuff. But if it doesn't, let's be honest, it's going to be a paper tank regardless. And it might not even be good for ramming. The Char MLE will be a lot better for ramming, because it has the 60 kph and the insane HP per ton ratio. 380 meters of view range could be better, could be worse. I personally would wish for 390, because it is a chunky boy. And lastly, it has a weird crew layout, which we don't really see in French light tanks. So once again, we are getting shafted with the crew. In summary, we have a long-awaited tank, which kind of looks boring and annoying to play with the E90, and we have a completely new, revamped Tier 9 tank based on the Tier 7 tank principle, which could be interesting, but will most likely play like a damage scout or a medium-light tank hybrid. So you will most likely be more in the medium tank role and be like a second-line scout, where something like the Char MLE, the VCS, or even 90s will be the first-line scouts. Will make it annoying to play, in my opinion. So, yeah, the Projet Louis is my favorite, for sure. Nevertheless, let me know in the comment section below what you think about this vehicle. Give me some feedback what I can do better. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, especially comment, because that drives, what's it called? Engagement, and that is what the YouTube algorithm loves. My name is RagingRaptor. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Cheers.